Okay, welcome everyone. We welcome those who are here for purposes of addressing the board at the proper time and in the order of their request. If you wish to speak during the meeting, please fill out a form indicating your name and the agenda item you wish to address. You may also make a request to give testimony on an item not listed for discussion today. Thank you. However, full discussion on any items not listed on the agenda will have to be delayed until such time as the item can be publicly posted in advance as a regular agenda item. If you wish to ask questions, please address them to the chair and not to individual members of the board or to the staff. And we will now do the flag salute. So join me in standing. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Public hearing, we have none. Call for agenda items for separate action or adoption of the agenda as posted.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, and we'll do a roll call vote because we have two board members zooming in. So we will do a roll call vote. Dr. Benitez.
Aye.
Dr. Williams. Do we have Dr. Williams?
Aye.
Oh, okay. Ms. Kerr.
Aye.
Mr. Meyer.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's 5 in favor or passes unanimously. Approval of minutes. Well, it says none. So we don't have minutes to approve today because this is a special meeting. Communications, we have none. So we go to public testimony on items listed on the agenda. And we have 6 people who are here in person. So we will start with Tonya Reyes Uranga and on deck, Mariela.
We don't have the timer. Blake? The timer? And so I do have 2 more to read if we have time,
Okay.
which we should.
Yeah.
Use your phone? Yeah. Hello, my name is Tonya Reyes Uranga. Thank you for having another hearing. Pardon? Oh, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, I wanted to say thank you for listening. The revisions in the LCAP, I think, means that you heard the parents. When I was first elected to council, my father used to always say, don't you move. When someone comes in, you listen to them, public comment, make sure you listen, don't go to the bathroom, don't move, don't look at, we didn't have internet then, or we didn't have we had internet, but we didn't have the computers in front of us. And he says, you just listen because that's your job, that's why you're elected. And so what he didn't tell me is that you have to show people that you listen, and one way you show them is by providing feedback, having a dialogue, or ensuring that, was that it already? Having a dialogue and showing that the parents have been heard, and they have been heard with this LCAP. Thank you so much. I first downloaded it and I said, what? Nothing has changed. Then I found out I had an earlier version. So then I got the latest version. I go, man, this was really, really good. Thank you. It shows that you, because I'm out there, at least for the last 3 hearings that we had, almost every meeting, and I see parents with their children, they're eating out there. Sometimes they're in the sun for an hour and a half waiting to talk to you, and to know that you've listened to them, I think is extremely important. So it's not just listening, but that you actually heard them. And so I, for one, wanted to say thank you. I know I don't always say, I'm always giving you recommendations, but this time I just came to say thank you. I believe that monitoring and implementation is going to be key. Parents are going through a lot. I know it's not a surprise to you. Teachers are as well. I don't know how people are surviving in these times, especially if they have more than one child. It is just madness. So the fact that I know that you were listening and that you heard them, and that you will make them, the fact that they're staying out there for so long, it makes it all worth it. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you. After Mariela, we have Noel.
Thank you for Thank you for shortening the time for online learning, and it has been a wonderful school year so far. I also have a sister that is over here, and she had to switch her Chromebooks 2 times. I am worried because in my class, half of the students are having mic troubles with their Chromebook. I hope there are no more technology problems with the school. Thank you again for everything.
Sorry for the confusion. My name's Mariela Salgado, and I first and foremost want to say thank you to Ms. Craighead, Megan Kerr, and Mr. Benitez for meeting with the LCAP work group. Also, thank you to Ms. Jill Baker for an opportunity to engage with you all. It's super important that parent voices are heard, and as you heard my youngest speak. So I just wanted to say thank you first and foremost. I did read the revisions for the LCAP, and I'm speaking on item number 13. I just wanted to say it's really good to see the district looking for more hotspots and ensuring that you guys are doing home site visits to have our students get what they need. As my daughter said, my youngest had issues with her Chromebook, so I know that there's still opportunity to be proactive about switching those G5, G4 models that are on students' homes. So I encourage the district and particularly school sites to proactively replace those G5 models. We continue to recommend to have tech captains at each school site to provide a one-stop shop for tech support. In regards to pupil learning loss, I want to thank you for tutoring. It's especially important for Black students and for other students who have faced opportunity gaps before we face COVID-19 and school closures, and who may not be in the 30 high-need schools in LBUSD. It is creative to leverage existing staff to providing tutoring, and it is crucial that the different pathways be communicated to parents so that they know what to ask for and where to go to at the school site when they need academic support. In addition, thank you for thinking of ways that parents can also leverage Canvas to improve communication with parents. It's important that we train parents on Canvas. As I said earlier, it's super important and helpful for parents who are learning to navigate technology and who face language barriers. And lastly, I just want to say I found something today, this weekend, that my principal sent me. It was a weekly newsletter called You Matter by one of the FRC's Creative Outreach, Kimberly Larimia. I just want to say thank you so much for that. And one of the things I think it speaks to is just opportunities to engage with us parents on how to support our kids. And I appreciate that that's available. But I also noticed that I think there's still so much opportunity to communicate and engage with parents so that they have those materials at hand. I think that was newsletter number 13. I hadn't seen it before. So I know there's a lot of information. I certainly feel overwhelmed with the number of emails sometimes between two kids, but I appreciate that those kinds of resources are there. You guys are doing so much, and I've seen the revisions, and I appreciate that there's so much work that's being done by all of you. And I continue to encourage for us to communicate in more traditional methods for those that speak Spanish only or Khmer or other languages, because I'm connected, and I just think there's still parents who aren't and who may need some more help, especially with Canvas and how it needs to be, we need to be involved in that platform. So I appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Debbie.
Who's next after Debbie?
After Debbie is David.
Hi, my name's Debbie Bover. I know many of you, and I know you know me. So thank you for letting me be here. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was speaking right this very second. And I'm just here, I just wanted you to see a day in the life of my classroom, just so that you can experience that perspective. You guys know what I teach, right? I teach children, is what I teach. I don't teach, it's not anything but children. That's who I'm with, and that's what I care about, and that's why I teach. I don't have anything written or prepared because I just thought I would teach, talk to you right from my heart. But I want to tell you a little bit about a student in my classroom, Johnny. And it could really be any student, it could be any classroom, it could be any teacher, because everybody has this one student, okay? So I'm just going to tell you about this student, Johnny. This is a real student in my classroom who comes to school, of course, on Zoom, and logs in late. There's no one there to help him. So he logs in late. He's on his bed. My job is to get him up. Okay, let's go, let's go. Sometimes the video works, sometimes the microphone works, mostly it doesn't. Parents in the background yelling at each other. He's trying to take his Chromebook from room to room to try to find a place where there isn't yelling. He's trying to find a place where there's connectivity because he's getting logged off, getting logged back in. I'm trying to hear him. I can't hear him because of whatever the situation is with his computer. Is it the Wi-Fi? Is it the room he's in? I asked him personally, I had him stay on after a class Zoom, they left. What's up, Johnny? He said, it's hot, I'm hot. I say, what's going on? Show me your room, it's really dark. He's like, there's no light in here, but this is where I need to have my class. The ceiling fan is missing, there's a hole in the ceiling. This is a true story, I'm just telling you right from my heart. This is a kid that I'm failing because I can't help those things. I can't fix that. I can do everything I can on Zoom, and I promise you I'm giving 100%. Hours and hours. I am fine with Canvas. I'm fine with assignments. I'm fine with Zoom. I can do it, but I cannot meet the needs of my students right now. I'm failing my students, and I'm trying my hardest, and I just want you to think of Johnny with whatever decision it is you have to make. Please just remember Johnny and think about how I'm failing him. If he could come into my room, I could help him. He wouldn't be around all of that that's getting in the way. And I could sit with the whiteboard, I could sit with some paper and help Johnny. And I can't do that unless you help me get to the point where I can have Johnny back in my classroom with me. So please, whatever you can do, whether it's special needs kids, whether it's primary age kids, get the kids back in person with the teachers so that we can do what it is that we do best, which is meet the needs of the one-on-one students that we have. So thank you for the time that you gave me.
Thank you. After David, we have Jerlene.
Good evening. My name is David Pulitzer. I'm talking today as a parent. I'm also a teacher, just not in LBUSD. I'm here to talk about what's going on with the schools not being open, specifically for students with special educational needs, as well as those that it might be gate identified. Unfortunately, not all students fall into the same category, and a one-size-fits-all approach does not work. Currently, that's what we're facing in LBUSD. With two of my kids, one that has an IEP and one that is gate identified, they are now suffering because they don't have an opportunity to be back in school. Although my wife and I understand where the district is based on what's going on with COVID and the guidance that's out there, we also believe that an opportunity for hybrid learning can still be successfully done, especially knowing that the district and also LA County as a whole is moving up in categories in terms of what the governor has put out. Things opening up at the beginning of October, like gyms, yoga, restaurants for people to go into, there's as much of a risk of those people getting COVID as there would be potentially with students in school. And I'd actually argue that in schools there's less of a risk because of the nature of what schools are doing to ensure that buildings are safe and are cleaned and taken care of. And we just feel it's being a disservice right now to youngsters like our children that aren't coping with online learning, with the amount of hours on the screen, compounded with extra time outside of school that they have for homework. I have a third grader who loves school, who cries most morning and refuses to go and asks if she can have a day off at school. So we have a child that went from loving it to despising it at the moment, which is frustrating. My son who's autistic, he actually is good at school, but he struggles, and he struggles because of the social emotional health. And I think that's something that the district really needs to take a look at. It's not just about the educational opportunities that students have or maybe actually don't have at this moment, but it's also the social and emotional health that kids are really suffering now. So I'd urge this board to move in a way that we can open up the schools, at least to a population that requires that, and for a population of parents who have opted in for it, whether it be hybrid or full-time, as well as those teachers who are willing to work at schools. I know at my daughter's elementary school, all but 2 teachers are actually in school working. I don't know if another survey has gone out to find out how many teachers would be willing to go back now and how many won't, but maybe that's something that could be done to see if there's enough staff that could be there to actually open the schools for those students that want to be there and also need to be there. I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jerlene Tatum, LBUSD parent. Back again. I've been coming consistently even before comments were being received. And I'm here tonight to say thank you. I've been part of the LCAP, what we are now calling accountability group, community group. And after sitting in our strategy session, we were like, we need to say thank you. One, thank you for the changes and adaptations that you've made to the LCP. Thank you for extending opportunities for the community to give input. On stakeholder engagement specifically, we want to say thank you to Board Member Craighead, Kerr, and Benitez for extending time to us to share directly our concerns, thoughts, and recommendations. We also want to thank Dr. Baker for, again, taking the time and valuing our voices enough to hear us, even though we've been here repeatedly and it's sometimes not so nice. Student and parent engagement. Thank you for making a commitment in the LCP to engage further with families in the areas of mental health, to do one-on-one. We know that right now this is just a piece of paper, but we are hoping and believing that you are going to actually follow through with the things that are listed in it. We will be here to remind you. So again, I'm here today to say thank you, and would like to request that please continue this engagement process beyond November. Do not stop now. Please allow this to continue so that as we move forward and prepare for the next school year, that the community voices are heard, so that we don't have to come back and repeat ourselves over and over and over again. But we will if we need to, because we are the customer. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Okay, we will now go to public testimony on items. Oh, I'm sorry. We have something that was submitted online.
Do you want to reset the timer? My name is Marta Cota, grandmother of 2 students and Latinos in Action Executive Director. This email is to thank and give some recommendations. Thanks to Ms. Baker and LBUSD school board members, especially to Ms. Craighead and Ms. Kerr and Dr. Benitez for engaging in dialogue with community members in various spaces, meeting one-on-one with groups and working to represent the needs of parents and community. We also thank you for raising your voice for expanding access at the FRCs to students from all LBUSD schools, for making FRC services available to students of every LBUSD school during these very stressful times. Short-term services that help students engage with each other could make a big difference during these times when students mostly miss and need connections with each other. Recently, staff were responsive to issues with language access during the budget session on 9/21. Appreciation for the budget study session on 9/21 that LBUSD organized. Some recommendations that we have are the following. We recommend that LBUSD leverage its powerful data tools to assess by subgroup how much learning has been lost and provide a systemic analysis for the community to understand the impact of COVID-19. It is critical to be transparent about LBUSD's plan to recover and narrow the opportunity gap that has existed year after year for Black students who have consistently been denied the support necessary to achieve even a 40% proficiency rate on standardized tests. Gross disparities also exist for English learners, students with disabilities, low-income students, and students who identify as Latinx or Pacific Islander. We also recommend that the LCP describe what the district is doing to help students connect to each other, which was the top need identified by students in the Family Needs Survey for social emotional well-being. Please allocate more funding to expand FRC services this year and/or allocate more school site staff that can provide mental health support. Let's continue in this collaboration and partnership. We are both seeking equity, excellence, and transparency in the success of the students. Let's do it together. We appreciate you considering these recommendations. In solidarity, Marta Cota. And then we have one more. You could reset. Okay. Good evening, LBUSD school board members and executive staff. We are Angelica Salazar, Director of Education Equity at the Children's Defense Fund, California, and Nicole Gon Ochi, Senior Staff Attorney at Public Advocates. For years, we have partnered with Long Beach parents, community-based organizations, and with the district to develop meaningful stakeholder engagement alongside the formulation of LBUSD's annual budget and LCAP, or LCP, as it was this year. We stand united with the other parents who have spoken to also extend our gratitude to you for all the time and energy that went into finalizing the LCP in a way that was responsive to the feedback you received from parents, students, and community organizations. We understand how complex and frankly difficult it is to reach as many stakeholders as possible, especially those who have been historically underrepresented because they haven't yet had their chance to tell their stories or shape decisions that impact their families. We know and understand how difficult it is to implement an accessible meeting in terms of language, ability, technology, not to mention accessible in terms of feeling welcome, valued, and embraced in terms of race, gender, sexuality, and our other intersectional identities. Fostering this sense of equity and collaboration is hard during any school year, and yet this year we worked to do it during a very special and difficult year of struggle and reckoning. Like you, we care more about what these plans mean for low-income families of color than the precise words on the page. Therefore, we are committed to partner with you to ensure that implementation of the programs and services discussed in the LCP and those that you have discussed with us in meetings reach families with the greatest needs, and that we collectively make progress on closing opportunity gaps in LBUSD. To that end, we recommend that you establish a school site level monitoring system that includes parents, students, teachers, administrators, and staff to regularly document, report, and problem solve implementation issues related to pandemic schooling and the supports and services discussed in the LCP. It is crucial that this monitoring happen, that Black and brown families and students are part of that monitoring, and that the public receive regular and reports about successes and challenges in implementation. Thank you, and we look forward to collaboration on improving education for highest need students, especially Black students this school year. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. So that's all for our online, on the agenda items. So now we will move to public testimony on items not listed on the agenda, and we have 11 people who are here in person. We will start with Viola May, and Gilbert will be up next.
Good evening. My name is Viola May Bledsoe, and I'm an instructional aide with the district, and I have been for almost 30 years. It's really hard to know that as in September, we are still fighting to get things in line to prevent the spread of COVID. I found out this last week that at my school site, there were 2 people that had tested positive recently. I don't know how recent, but they are on campus, so it can't be like last week, but recent enough. And we keep getting calls from CSEA members that said they sent home 3 people from my site today that had tested positive. They are sending people home because of this. But yet the other people at the sites aren't being told, we don't need to know the names of the people who get stuff, but it would be nice to know that, hey, we had somebody test positive, so maybe you might want to go test. In my case, dealing with somebody with stage 4 inoperable cancer, in the lungs, it is imperative that there are things in place to keep me safe when I have to be at work so that I don't have to bring it home to him. He's already dealt with pneumonia twice since March, and I'm afraid if there's something else that comes down the line and I get sick, or even if I don't get sick, if I bring it home to him, that this is going to be it. We have been fighting the district for, well, I shouldn't say fighting, but we have been arguing with the district on giving us the right, same right as the teachers, not to have to be at work if we can do our work on computers at home, which most of us can. Please, think of your employees. Think of the essential classified employees that do the work of this district, that have problems at home with children, with elderly parents that they're taking care of, with sick ones like I am. Please, get something in place, get back to the table with CSCA so that we can get this done and get some kind of protocol up and at them, because some of them take your temperature but don't ask you any of the questions, and it's just as important to ask those questions as it is to take the temperatures. Thank you.
Thank you. After Gilbert, we have Mike.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Gilbert Bonilla, Jr. I'm the CSCA president. Good afternoon, board, education members, and staff. I want to read something from our labor relations representative who can't be here. Excuse me. My name is Brittany Jones, and I am the labor relations representative for California School Employees Association, CSCA. As your labor partners are asking for your consideration and empathy at this time, classified employees are essential and have been working diligently throughout COVID-19. We are asking for the district's collaboration and flexibility while we continue to feed the community, clean the campuses, care for the students, and maintain the infrastructure of the district. We are inviting you to meet with us and discuss a few of our concerns. Yeah, we're still having a lot of the same concerns regarding COVID-19. We're seeing that there's no change since March from today. It's still considered a serious threat. And for those people who can work from home, we're asking for the flexibility. There are those that, while the students aren't on campus, can perform the work from home and be home safe. I had a mother call me from the hotline. She was telling me a story about, she's been really prudent about keeping her family safe, doing the shopping once a month, gas, sanitation, go home sanitize, just being very, very careful, because she has a lot in her family are high risk. Her child is, one of her children has some organ health issues, so they go to the doctor frequently and they get tested. Everybody tested negative. She returned to work on a Friday, first day back. They were telling her that, a maintenance worker had COVID, and also a lot of people have been in and out on her desk, so she was trying to sanitize as best she can. Did her work that day, went home for the weekend, and on Sunday woke up with a fever and was diagnosed with COVID. She's devastated. That's just, we're starting to see more and more people contract it, and we're not even back at full capacity. So while the students are out, we're hoping that we can have that flexibility for our people to be home, to be safe, because this, again, it's considered a serious threat, and we would really like to have you guys please just help them. I'm here. What can I do? I'm getting these calls. I'm here to try to help them, and I'm asking you to help as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. After Mike, we have Sergio.
Fix this real quick. How you doing? My name is Mike Gallo. I'm a product of Long Beach Unified School District. Coverly, Bancroft, and Milliken. I bleed the Rams. I bleed that blue and gold. I live in the neighborhood, and I got 3 beautiful kids. And it's first grade, third grade, and 6th and 7th grade. I'm sorry. Just the online is what it is. It is what it is right now. It's the teachers are doing a great job. They really are. And you here are doing the best job you can do right now. But the CDC doctor, the head doctor of CDC said, this is our best, this is going to be better than the vaccine. This virus is not going away. And we chose the hybrid option for a reason, because I really truly believe being in front of a teacher is a lot better than being in front of a teacher on a computer screen. Because we all know that our kids are on their iPads or phones or whatever already all the time. Now they're doing it for school. So the education is there. We just chose a hybrid, and that's what we want. I mean, there's a lot of families that are scared to send their kids to school, and I understand that. It's going to be safe as long as we keep these on. Our masks are going to keep us away from this virus. And of course, washing our hands and all that good stuff. God knows I've been training my kids. They don't go anywhere without having a mask on. So thank you. I just want you guys to consider not January 28th, the sooner the better, because I just feel like my kids are falling behind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Mike Gallo, that's Mike Gallo. I hope did I say that? I think I did.
You did, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. After Sergio, we have Amy.
Hi, good evening. I'm here to speak about, by the way, my name is Sergio Bonilla. I'm a community worker at Star King, excuse me, Star King Elementary. I've been a community worker for about 6 years, and I wanted to address the home visits. We had well, anyways, I'll read off from this. Let's see. I've been working as a community worker for 6 years, and I've been a part of attendance services. I was a self-tester, interpreter, translator for OCIPD, as well as 6 years in the Covina Valley Unified School District as a school teacher. I'm here speaking about the home visits. This last week on the 24th of September at 1:30, we had a meeting at Home Visits presentation via Zoom. This meeting was hosted by Dr. Simon, and she spoke about the protocol of home visits, strategies to use when going to do a home visit. I wanted to go over the statistics and the idea of the home visits. For as of now, I don't consider it the wisest decision for personnel to be going out at the homes. The information provided by Councilman Al Austin, which is part of Long Beach District 8. So the COVID numbers here in Long Beach, dated September the 28th, are as follows. 11,843 total positive results. We have 82 new cases since Friday. We have 7-day positivity rate at 3.8%, 6.7 daily new cases per 1,000 population, and 245 fatalities. 44 people hospitalized. So the state indicators for LA County, the current LA County is in Tier 1, which is the highest, which is what is considered widespread. The 7-day positivity rate is 2.8. And if you look at that figure versus ours, which is 3.8, it's 1% higher. 7.0 daily new cases per 1,000 population. So as I read this week at the Long Beach Post, reported that the Bixby Elementary daycare had 9 students and 2 staff to quarantine to avoid potential spread of COVID. Was that?
I'm sorry, that means your time is up.
Oops, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for your time. And anyways, have a good night.
Thank you. After Amy, we have Natasha.
My name is Amy Allen. So good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Baker, executive staff. Thank you so much for letting us come in and speak. I am a grateful teacher here in Long Beach Unified. In fact, I've spent 22 of my 23 years here, so I'm grateful to have had the opportunity. Dr. Georgia Jones took a risk with me, so I'm thankful for that. I've served at Naples Elementary, and it's an honor and privilege to serve that community, and I'm deeply, my heart goes to them. So I'm here tonight because I felt the burden to come share with you because my own kids have had the opportunity to go back to school. My 7th grader last week and my senior in high school today, he went back to a hybrid situation. And I sat there and I heard the cries of the people. I've listened to them. I've heard their struggles. I've tried to give advice. And I feel guilty. I feel guilty that my own kids are going to this situation that so many parents want the freedom that they've chosen to have the opportunity to come back and be in person. I am a teacher. I am here to go back to be in person with my students. Being behind the screen, I try my best. And even in the best situations and the best brain breaks that I can come up with, they are not as engaged as if we were there in person together. So several families have left my school. They're leaving because they want that in-person experience. They've seen their kids lose their sparkle, lose their motivation, and I've even seen that a little bit even in my own kids who are older. So they're hoping, they're waiting, but they had to make a decision for what was best for their family. In the spring, my students wrote letters to me, and some of the heartfelt messages they said, Mrs. Allen, it made me very sad that our year was cut short. I know we would have had a lot of fun together in class. Our virtual meetings did make it a lot better. It has been something I've looked forward to every week. Another child wrote, Mrs. Allen, I learned so much this year. I loved everything we did at school, and I miss you so much. I do not like being at home at all, and I miss going to school. Gotta love those first graders. So what do we tell these kids? What's our timeline? Do we have the equipment to reopen? Do we have desk shields? My custodians are working so hard. They're so helpful. My principal, my office manager, my support staff, they're doing everything for us, for me. I had a migraine yesterday. My principal's coming in with an ice pack. What do you need, Amy? What do you need? I don't doubt the support, and I'm grateful for the training, and I'm grateful for what you're providing us. But most importantly, I want my kids to come back. I want these families to have what I have, and that's that spark back into my kids' eyes. So please consider that January 28th is just a benchmark, but that in the meantime, we are moving forward with a plan, and we're getting the equipment that we need to have on campus for the kids to come back. Thank you.
Thank you. After Natasha, we have Scott.
Hi, my name is Natasha Garcia, and I am here today as a parent. I have 2 high school students, one at Poly, or not at Poly, but online at Poly, and one at Wilson. And I'm here today because I'm very concerned, especially about my younger daughter. Both of my kids are reporting migraines every single day at the end of the nearly 7-hour online learning experience. And my younger daughter has been really, really depressed. She's gate identified, and she also has a 504 in place for ADHD, and I asked the counselor if there was any special accommodations being made under the circumstances, and I never received an answer. She has told me over and over and over again that she wants to drop out of school. She is extremely talented academically. It breaks my heart to have a kid this smart who is ready to drop out at 14 years old. And she just says, Mom, I just can't do it without being with other kids and without having more interaction. It's just too flat. And on top of it, to have headaches like this every day, she's constantly trying to get out. And I just want to report this because I know other people are going through similar stuff. I know this is difficult. Every day I feel like I'm having counseling with my kids at the end of the day to try to convince them that they can make it through another day of this. And, you know, I also feel like we're being short-sighted. You know, I think we could open schools safely, you know, with all of the recommendations in place. And I just wonder what is the deal breaker here? Because now we have this new date for next semester. But what if then they still don't feel okay, and then it's at the end of the year? This could go on for 4 years. My sister-in-law works at Kaiser, and that's what they're planning for. We just don't know. So if we don't start to make some inroads at opening the schools, I feel like we're just going to let this whole, you know, 4 years or 2 years or however many years of kids fall through the cracks. And what is that going to do to our community? All these kids my kids are lucky. They have computers. They don't have to rely on Chromebooks that don't work. But there's a lot of kids out there that don't have access to that stuff. And there's a lot of kids that are a lot more likely to drop out than my kids. And what's going to happen to our community with all these extra kids that are out there lost? And I hope that you'll also think about that when you consider everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you. After Scott, we have Sarah.
Hello, my name is Scott Allen, and I am following Amy. Amy's my wife. She came in just a little bit ago. Product of Long Beach Unified, Patrick Henry, Marshall, Milliken. Love being here. You guys are my people. I've played sports with some of you here, played hockey. I've taught alongside some of you. I've taught your kids. And I have 3 kids at home, and this is about one of my kids. She was removed from school March 13th like the rest of us. And I remember her whole entire life, all my kids, their whole entire life, they would say, we don't like school, we hate school, their whole life. And I'm a teacher, so that hurts. So March 13th hits, and they're not coming to school, they're staying home, and about 2 weeks into it, they said, we want to go back to school. I mean, it was like a celebration for me. It's like, this is so true. They love school, they need school. Well, recently, I watched her decline. And she didn't know it, she couldn't see it, but I could see it. I could see the decline. She would sit at home on her computer, do her school stuff, and it got to the point to where she said she didn't want to go back to school. And it was like, this is dangerous because my family is vibrant. We're active. I got 2 boys that are older in sports, and I've got kids lifting weights in the garage, and there's all kinds of activity. And I'm watching her decline. And I thought, this is dangerous with an active home. So I just want to encourage you to do everything you can to get our kids back. I know it's a risk. I do know it's a risk, but I know not going back might be more of a risk. I think the mental health is, you can't see it sometimes. If she scrapes her knee outside, I can see it. But if you don't know your kid, like my kids in my Zoom classes, I can't see it sometimes. I can't tell. You know, if they have a black eye, I can see it. But there's things we're missing, and I think we might be missing something that's more dangerous. So I'm here to work. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to go back to Milliken and put up those shields. I'll do it for free. I already have people ready to go. And you know, Chris knows, we'll get it done. So I want to encourage you to work your hardest. I know you are, because my support staff at Millikan, Mr. Vega, Mr. Lenowitz, they're doing a fantastic job preparing us, and I know they'll work hard to get us back too. So I'm encouraging you to fight through and push through and get us back January 28th or sooner. I think the risk, the mental health risk of our students is far worse than the virus. I'll sacrifice myself. I know some teachers can't, and I respect that, but I will go back for my kids, and I hope you consider it. So, thank you. Excuse me.
Thank you. After Sarah, we have Luz.
My name is Sarah Cameron Bennett. Good evening, and thank you for having me. I have 2 kids in the district, a freshman and a junior at Wilson High School. I'm a 4th-generation Long Beach resident, and am a product of 12 years in Long Beach's public schools. I graduated from Wilson and went to UC Berkeley. I taught 2nd grade at Claire Barton Elementary School. To say that I am familiar with public schools is an understatement. I am here tonight with one objective: to convince you that students should return to an educational environment that is in person and safe as soon as possible. I, along with 5 other women, started a Facebook group called Reopen Long Beach Schools. In just over 2 weeks, we have grown our membership to close to 1,600 concerned parents. Our mission is to return to in-person education as soon as possible, while following the governor's executive orders and while understanding that COVID numbers will dictate this timing. We are concerned with the mental health of our own children who are suffering from anxiety and depression. We're worried about those kids learning to read in kindergarten through 3rd grade, kids with special needs, kids that are not logging into Zoom meetings, and we have fretted over those that simply are neglected or abused at home. During our initial meetings, we set a goal to convince you that our kids deserve the choice to opt in to an in-person learning environment as soon as it is safe. We have written letters, we have picketed, we've contacted members of your board and our elected officials. Some have even reluctantly moved their children out of the district. We have fought to keep politics out of this discussion. We recognize the challenges that Long Beach faces when it comes to our own COVID plan, and we understand that people are afraid of this disease. But you gave us a choice, a hybrid environment or online learning, and then you took that choice away. You have been charged with a huge task: to uphold the mission of the district, which is to support the personal and intellectual success of every student every day. You have had since March 16th to figure out how to get kids back to school. And I've seen your plan, and I ask, is it being implemented? Your community is relying on your expertise. We are counting on your passion for our kids and their education. And we are trusting that you are going to make decisions that are in their best interest. Use the COVID data. Rely on science. Work within a governor's executive order, but be creative and be transparent. Tell us your target. Tell us your objective. Tell us whether this is about politics or liability. And most importantly, we ask that you act in the best interest of the 70,000 kids in your district and get them back to school in a safe manner as soon as possible, not January 28th. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. After that, we have Melanie.
Hi everyone, my name is Luz Laguna. I reside in the city of Long Beach, North Long Beach. My son attends to Jordan High Head Start program. Thanks to the program that it's open for the toddlers in our community. Especially right now in this pandemic that all schools are closed because of medical reasons, because we're all concerned about medical reasons. But one of the things that, I'm here for, because I was once a student in the public schools, how hard it was for me to learn. And a lot of students learn differently. Some by small groups, others by big groups, others by visualization, others by hearing. So they have different type of needs in our community. Sometimes it's frustrating for students, using the internet system. Sometimes, the system glitches, or sometimes, it's delay on their homework assignments, or sometimes, they just have difficulties. I'm here just to introduce myself, to let you guys know that I'm very interested, and I've had submitted a form on being president of the Head Start program, so that I can be able to see how I can be able to donate my time to help, the Long Beach district. I have experience. I have worked also with assembly members, in other areas, other unions that support a lot of issues in our communities. So once again, you guys, my name is Luz Laguna, and I'm very interested in learning a lot from you guys. And if you guys, are willing to give me, a few time to donate my, my time, my personal time, to be able to be involved in the Long Beach community. That will be, something helpful for me, not just for myself, but also, to share my experiences and how, I have developed my work and my knowledge in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. After Melanie, we have Enrique.
My name is Melanie Keel, and I am the parent of 4 Long Beach Unified School District students. And yesterday, I listened carefully to our LA County Department of Public Health give their live COVID update, and learned that 92% of people who have passed away from COVID-19 had an underlying health condition. And they also reported that 3 weeks out from the Labor Day holiday, the number of positive cases has not spiked, but the positive case number has actually been consistently low. It was also stated when speaking about concerns of COVID running into the flu season, that places like Australia and Brazil have had a very mild flu season this year, which they think is probably related to precautions that people are taking to protect themselves and people they love from COVID by wearing masks and hand washing. These precautions can also protect people from getting influenza, which will most likely, which they stated, cause us to have a mild flu season this year. That's from our LA County Department of Public Health. As a substitute teacher, every year I have seen viruses spread among students and teachers. It is not a unique threat this year. As the mother of a child that was hospitalized with influenza as a baby and again developed pneumonia from a virus as a teen, I know that there are health risks involved with viruses. I'm actually less concerned this year about my kids getting sick at school when people are wearing masks, because we know that the likelihood of contracting COVID is really low if we all are willing to wear masks, teachers and students and administrators. At this time, sports teams are allowed to practice in person at the high school level, which I'm so thankful for, because it has been great for 2 out of my 4 students to be able to have an outlet for physical exercise and see friends and participate in an activity that brings them joy. It gives them a little break from their mostly on-screen day. So that has been really helpful. I'm super appreciative of that. If these teams can safely return for practice in person, if our students were able to pick up their textbooks, take student ID photos indoors with masks after taking temperatures, if we can meet here safely tonight and discuss these important issues, don't you think we can find a way to bring our kids back to school safely in a hybrid model for families who chose this option back in the summer? Don't you think we can find a safe way for my kids' school orchestras to rehearse in person wearing masks? Don't you think we can find a better solution? Our kids desperately need some changes. This district has always cared about allowing families to make choices that best fit their needs. We offer school of choice, and we encourage high schoolers to pick their pathway of choice based on what fits their individual interests and educational goals. So let's continue this progressive thinking and not expect this time to be any different in our district. Education is not a one-size-fits-all. Virtual learning does not fully serve all the students' needs. Please consider offering a hybrid option for students and families and teachers who want to face back. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
This will be our last speaker.
Hi, good evening. My name is Enrique Chavez on behalf of CSEA. I would like to start by saying that California is showing signs of a new surge of coronavirus cases. Governor Gavin Newsom, he said on September 28, 2020, which was yesterday, Monday, he was warning of a potential third shutdown of businesses and more delays in school reopenings. Long Beach Post article dated March 18, 2020, Willard Elementary School families and staff were notified by the Long Beach Health Department, and a letter was posted on the school's website. You or your child may have been exposed to COVID-19 at Willard Elementary from March 12th through the 13th, 2020. Long Beach Post article dated August 12, 2020, EduCare Pre-K campus closes for 2 weeks after a COVID-19 case found. The Long Beach Unified School District has closed down one of its pre-K childcare campuses for 2 weeks after a person in the school tested positive for COVID-19. Long Beach Post article August 14, 2020, 3 COVID-19 cases at a local high school sparks worry amongst parents, teachers. 3 employees at the Long Beach high schools tested positive for COVID-19. Long Beach Unified School District confirmed that 1 employee at Poly High School and 2 employees at Millikan High School tested positive for the virus. Long Beach Post article dated September 23, 2020, 9 students and 2 staff members at Bixby Elementary have been asked to quarantine since Monday to avoid potential spread of COVID-19. Supervisors of all 10 Kids Club sites across the city have previously raised concerns about the circumstances of their return to campuses and requested hazard pay. Where is the hazard pay? Where is the flexibility of rotations? Remember, board members, you are elected officials, and when election time comes, you will be remembered for your COVID-19 response. We will never forget. I'd like to finish this off by saying, if someone were to become ill and the source of the coronavirus was traced to a school, who is going to pay the bills? Thank you.
Thank you. And so we don't have any more time for comments? Okay. So that is our time for public testimony. Staff report, we have none. Business items, we have none. Superintendent items, we have none. Unfinished business, we have none. And new business, the learning continuity and attendance plan. Dr. Baker, do we have somebody to speak to that, or should we go right into the?
No, you can go right into the item. Tonight's the culmination after 2 public hearings on the LCP for you to take action on the completed LCP.
Okay. So this is an action item, so we'll just jump right into a vote.
Yeah, I'll move approval of the completed LCP after our 2 hearings and community input, the finished product in front of us. I move approval.
A second.
Okay, discussion. Would somebody like to start with a discussion? I can't see.
Madam Chair, I don't know if you can see.
I cannot see you, but I can hear you. Would you like to start out as far as discussion is concerned? Okay.
Just 2 points that I'd like to make. One is just my appreciation that we pushed back our approval to as late as possible, literally a day before this is due for us, and in order to provide as many opportunities for public input. And I also want to thank all of our community members and stakeholders for engaging and participating even during these challenging times, and in all the ways that they did, whether that be through public comments, through meetings, through all the spaces, through the hotline. I'm proud that our district was able to put this document together, and as a few of our speakers shared, it is a document, and it is important. I think the more important, or as important at the very least, part of this is how we monitor and operationalize and implement the very key important things that are in this document. So just thank you to all of our staff and to all of the community stakeholders that contributed to this document that we now need to implement and uphold.
Well said, I agree completely. Ms. Kerr?
Yeah, I also.
Madam Chair?
Okay, we seem to have a delay with the sound and everything. Dr. Williams? Is that okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
In going through the report, I noticed how comprehensive the report was in reference to the conditions that we're in as a district and what we see as approaches to provide instruction to the students in this district. Also the roles that our teachers and staff have to play as a result of the situation and the conditions that we're in. I have to say that there was a lot of work going forward in all the situations that have to be reviewed and dealt with to bring our district online. And just basically say to all the executive staff and staff, what a marvelous job you folks have done in trying to get things geared up for our students, and truly appreciate that work. We have to start someplace. We have to look at what that start means in terms of results and get feedback on our actions. So the initial steps are critical, and again, my hat's off to all of you for the work that you've done.
Thank you, thank you. Ms. Kerr?
Yeah, I just want to echo my colleagues' thanks to the community for coming out in various ways to tell us what's going on in their homes. We know that every family is experiencing this a little bit differently, but to have the collective experience of listening to families talk about what their needs are so they can be incorporated into the work that we do has been critical. So I want to thank everyone who contributed. I really want to thank executive staff for being so thoughtful and thorough in this document. We know that it's just a document. We know that literally it's a compliance document that we're required to do by law. But I also know that there's thousands of people who are doing this work as we speak, that tonight isn't a jumping off point of this is what we're going to do starting now. This is incorporating the work that's been happening since March, especially in the summer, and will continue to be augmented as we see the experiences of students and families and taking those voices into consideration. We talk about things as a living document, but this is the September 29th version of what we're doing, and what we're doing on October 7th might be slightly different, but the intentionality of this is what we say is important to us, I think, is critical. So I really want to thank staff who took the time, not only the ones doing the work, but took the time to write in detail what this work looks like, and knowing that if they actually wrote in detail, it would be 1,000 pages long, all of the different things that are happening. So to staff up and down the district in every corner who is doing the work in these 58 pages, thank you. And thank you to the community for being engaged in the process, and we look forward to continuing to be engaged with you.
Thank you.
I'd too like to thank the staff. This is a very comprehensive, thorough document. And I've said it before, I'll say it once again. I applaud the staff development we do with our teachers. Nothing is more important in the school day than what happens between the teacher and the student. Therein lies our challenge.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate all the thoughtful comments and agree with everything said. A big thanks to those who have spoken out and also to those who have worked on this. So any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, we'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Benitez.
Aye.
Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. I'm going back and forth between two meetings. My apologies.
Okay.
Why do you always put it on mute when I speak, Dr. Williams?
All right, John.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So that passes unanimously. Okay, we are at report of board members. We'll start with Dr. Benitez.
I will keep my comments very brief, Madam Chair. We have some presidential elections that just started. The debates, I'm sorry, not the election, the debates. But we have until October 5th for folks to complete the census. There was a short extension, went originally from tomorrow to October 5th. So just want to continue encouraging folks, my2020census.gov. Fill it out, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell a family member. We have 5 days to get an accurate and complete count.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. Dr. Williams.
I'll reserve my comments until the next meeting, board meeting.
Okay, Ms. Kerr.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I just want to thank people for continuing to engage with us, to continue, those who are continuing to be deeply concerned about how their children are experiencing this. I've had a couple conversations this week with folks, and we realize this is no longer the blip, the 2 or 3 month blip in our kids' education, my kids included. And it's much bigger than that. And we're very cognizant in our household of who we are to each other in this moment that is really hard and really frustrating and sad. There's lots of feelings that we're all having, and being cognizant of how we want to be with each other, how we're engaging with those that we interact with, realizing that we get to continue to be in relationship with each other after COVID, and how we are with each other during COVID. In our household, we're just trying to be really aware of making sure that there's kindness in the midst of our frustration and our anger, so that when we come out of post-COVID, whatever that looks like, that we get to continue having those relationships. So I would just encourage folks to continue to be mindful of who we are to each other within our families and as we interact in a really challenging, difficult, emotionally and politically charged time.
Thank you. That's a good point. Mr. Meyer.
No report, thank you.
Okay, I don't really have a report, just other than to say that everybody who's come here to talk about their situation, whether it's a teacher that's come before us to speak or a parent who's concerned about their kids, we're all in the same boat as far as we care about the kids. We would all much prefer having the kids in classrooms with teachers. That's at the heart of what we do. That is what we want. That is what we're working towards. But the reality of the situation, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. We don't know what the future brings. We don't know when LA County is going to be able to move to the next tier even, which is very frustrating. I live on the east side of Long Beach. To those who live, to the kids that live on the west side, north side, or whatever, when I say east side, I mean east like Martha's Vineyard east of Long Beach, as one principal told me, that it is frustrating for our families to see a school district that neighbors ours that have brought their kids back, and that's frustrating. But I want to tell everybody, that school district that neighbors ours is in a different county. Long Beach is in the county of LA. School districts in Orange County have been able to bring their kids back. Actually, the first official day was September 22nd, but some schools got waivers. It was mostly private schools, but some schools got waivers to bring their kids back earlier because they're in Orange County, because they are no longer in the first tier. They are no longer in the purple zone, they're in the red zone. In fact, they're really close to moving to the next tier, which is the orange tier. We are still in tier 1. We are still in the purple zone. We don't even have a projected date on when we're going to be moving to the next tier. So we have to abide by those county guidelines. We are limited by what LA County can do. As far as LA County is concerned, we cannot bring kids back. So it's not a matter of we don't want to bring the kids back, it's a matter of we can't. And even when we go to the next tier, we have to maintain that level for at least 14 days. And we don't even have that date. We don't have the date beyond with the 14 days. When we made the decision to wait out the semester and do it this way, it's because we had everybody in mind. Let's be consistent. Let's provide stability. We don't want to have situations where we're bringing kids back, but then there's issues and we have this back and forth thing going on. So we're making the best decisions we can with the information we have. And I just feel like I need to clarify that, because sometimes when people come to speak, it sounds like, or they make it sound like we're choosing not to bring our kids back. At this point, it's not a choice. It is not up to us. We are part of LA County, and that is part of the limitation. And so with that, I'll just say, please, everybody wear your mask. Please, everybody wash your hands, maintain your distance. As I'm out and about in the city of Long Beach, I see a lot of people without masks. Please wear masks so we can bring the kids back. Let's try and keep each other healthy. When I see people on the street without a mask in a situation where people are in relatively close distance with each other, I am so frustrated because I see that people aren't taking it seriously. We're all tired of this. Nobody's comfortable with this situation. But if we put our nose to the grindstone, we can make some changes. And so my plea is for my community. Can we all step up? Can we all take this seriously? And then we can move on. We all want the kids back with our teachers. And I appreciate hearing from parents, and I appreciate hearing from teachers. So let's all do our part for that. We have a lot of responsibilities coming up. We have an election, we have the census. I hope everybody signs up for that. That makes a big difference. Dr. Baker, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Just a few things as we close tonight. I do want to reiterate that we have a safety plan that is fully being implemented across the district, and any staff member who needs to be notified about exposure to COVID is being notified. I know that was brought up with the speaker, and I just want to reiterate that is happening. We have contact tracing going on in our district, and any staff member who's experiencing exposure will be notified. So it's important. And I just want to echo the thanks that has been expressed for staff, some of whom are in the room, many who are not, who have worked on the LCP or Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan. And I especially want to thank community members who engage in many new and different ways with our engagement processes. We're trying things out. These are tools that we think we can use long into this year and into years to come. And I thank the community who has participated in new ways and been patient as we learn, especially in this environment. So thank you to staff, and thank you for community for their engagement. That's my report.
Thank you. Announcements? Okay. How about adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
All right, thank you, everybody.